am so honored to be here with you all tonight. And, some see me as the woman of the year. Some see me as a woman of a year and some change, as I only publicly came out online 560 days ago.
Day one of being a girl, and I have already cried 3 times. I wrote a scathing email that I did not send. I ordered dresses online that I couldn't afford. And then when someone asked me how I was, I said, I'm fine, when I wasn't fine. So, how'd I do, ladies? Good? Girl power.
And some people don't see me as a woman at all.
Day 74 of being a girl, round of applause for the makeup. And I wore this outfit shopping today, and I thought that these might be my new shopping shorts. But I was walking around and everyone was staring, and I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? And they were all staring directly at my crotch. And I went, oh, I forgot that my crotch doesn't look like other women's crotches sometimes, because mine doesn't look like a little Barbie pocket. I just normalize it, and I wear clothes like this, and we all just normalize women having bulges sometimes, because we're coming up on bikini season, baby, and you might see a bulge or two. So normalize the bulge. We are normalizing the bulge.
I know, which is why receiving this honor from a queer publication like Attitude means so much more to me. Because here's what I've realized. You ready? Okay. So, no matter how hard I try, or what I wear, or what I say, or what surgeries I get, I will never reach an acceptable version of womanhood by those hateful people's standards.
You know what I think we need? A good old-fashioned sleepover! Day 95 of being a girl, and we are going Barbie doll shopping! Day 76 of being a girl, and these are my favorite songs of girlhood so far. Girls, they wanna have fun.
But as long as I have the queer community that sees me for my truth, I'm gonna be okay.
From birth, stereotypes and expectations are placed on girls in overt ways that, in recent years, have been publicly called out and addressed. For example, in the past 30 years, schools, books, media, and society at large have verbally suggested that women can enter any workforce they want. You no longer have to be constrained to just mother or wife to be happy. Discrimination based on sex is legal in the U.S., even if this ruling is not always upheld and is now often undermined by the inclusion of nebulous gender into law. There have been efforts to create spaces for women where there previously were none, most notably in the creation of scholarships and job positions for women. However, while there have undoubtedly been improvements, this also exists in covert ways that are harder to identify due to how normalized they are, alongside a pushback which arises with every wave of feminism. Think of the first time you were told to cover up. Was it when you hit puberty and were starting to grow breasts, gaining curves? Was it when you were a child and an uncle came to visit during sweltering summer months? Was there a clear delineation at all between genderless child and future woman? The quiet insinuation that your body was a provocation in turn created shame in your body. How dare it betray you, ejecting you from a free childhood and into a prison of femininity? Some cultures raise children the same when they are young, but this doesn't negate the eventual separation into girls and boys, those who have limitless options and those who have few. This also creates blame for abuse. After all, it was your body that provocated him. It was your fault for not covering up. It also creates an expectation of abuse, a boogeyman who awaits just out of sight, waiting to strike. Maybe it is in childhood, as 1 in 9 girls under the age of 18 experience sexual abuse or assault, with 82% of all victims under 18 being female. Or maybe it'll happen to you later in life, as 1 out of every 6 American women has been the victim of an attempted or completed rape in her lifetime.
What is your craziest catcalling experience here in the city?
I have experience on the subway where these men will jerking off to us and stuff like that. One time it was on the street. We got out the cab and this man was just looking at us, fully had everything out in front of us. So that was a little scary. And then on the subway, man was following us into different subway carts, and I got into one where he couldn't pass through the train to get me, but my friends went into one where he ended up getting into the subway with them and then was sitting there doing his thing. When I'm with my friends, I feel pretty confident that if anything were to like harm us in some type of way, like we'd be able to defend ourselves. But in situations like that, you just kind of have to act like they don't faze you, and you have to be like strong and know that you can run and like walk away. And there's always a lot of people out in New York, so I feel pretty safe and like confident that if I was in danger, like someone would help me.
After all, when did you first get catcalled? It's not the catcalling itself, the words are just words, but unlike the curses spat at you from an Xbox headset, there is a threat lingering beyond them. The male gaze is not merely a reflection of male desire, but has power from the resources enabled to enact violence. The first time a man at the gas station says you look delicious in that skirt, when your music teacher warns that your cuteness won't work on him, when a car slows down to leer, licking his lips, calling out mamacita, that is the butterfly breaking from the chrysalis, your rude awakening into sexualization. It is the realization of sexual purpose, often before you even know what sex is. After all, we Americans love to hide sex like a skeleton in the closet. Better to let our kids stumble upon it when digging through the internet for dress-up games and Transformers fan fiction. Better to build up the threat so that we can never really see what the monster looks like. After all, if you have no words to define your experience, you can't tattle, now can you? When did you first become conscious that you had things to fix about your body? It might have been said to you, your mother noting that a girdle would make that dress fit better, or a suggestion that a looser shirt would be more flattering. It could have been learned through the pictures in your magazines, the women advertising not just clothes, but what you should look like, hairless, thin, curved, so unlike the frumpy organic shape a teenager tends to take. Did you learn to view your body in patchwork, each piece a part of a puzzle adding to an unsatisfactory conclusion? Which part did you hate first? A soft stomach, a nose too sharp, or large hair growing in too thick or in the wrong place? When did you realize that you were treated differently to your male peers? Was it when your brother was never taught to cook, clean, launder, but your childhood afternoons were spent helping your mother to do so? Was it when you were gifted dolls, dresses, pretty ornamental things, instead of trucks, guns, clothes meant to be functional? It could have been when you were a child, described in different things just because you were female, bossy instead of headstrong, precocious instead of intelligent.
And don't get pissed when people stare, because you are asking for it.
You want to go be a fucking adult?
Oh, I'm asking for it?
You are! You are asking for it. I told you, as clear as day, the conversation that we had earlier, as clear as day, I'm going to calm down. The conversation that
When did you realize that you faced sexual danger? When did you put the words together? It's almost impossible to pinpoint when the veil lifted and the realization of sexual violence became visceral and known. It's so omnipresent, from being told that dressing or acting a certain way would lead to consequences, told that a fun filter would make boys think of you in a certain way, to knowing through whispered warning about not leaving drinks unattended, following girl code, and always leaving parties together. Can any of us say when it was realized that rape existed as a leering danger in the dark, that the shape of the monster was our fathers, brothers, and friends, that it was called rape?
The idea that when someone is sexist towards me as a woman, it gives me euphoria.
I can actually relate to this a lot. I've had plenty of times that men have been sexist towards me, especially given the way that I dress and present myself as very cutesy. A lot of times I get not taken very seriously, talked over, talked down to. People tend to sometimes underestimate how much I can actually do. Like, it's a whole thing. But it's weird because every time it's happened, I've had to remind myself in my brain that sexism is a bad thing, because my little trans woman brain is like, they see me as a woman, I'm just gonna melt. Like, I don't know why my brain's like this, but it is, and it's weird.
It is not just one experience of misogyny, it is the culmination of all of them, stacking up upon one another like bricks until you are encased in a mausoleum of misogyny. It is being told that your father could and would see you sexually if your shorts were too short. It is being catcalled as you walk to the library for the newest Twilight book. It is watching movie after movie where the woman is harassed, assaulted, valued only for her beauty, changed in ways that show you that her only value is in how others perceive her. It is through history, where you see that there has never been a female president, that the last attempt to elect one in the U.S. led to sexual comments, a rising of the old adages that a woman is ruled by her period, is untrustworthy on account of her emotionalness even when she no longer has periods, that the most fulfilling position a woman could ever attain is to be wife, mother, nursemaid, servant to another person, that even a woman who is rich, who is powerful, must still play the same games of her body to maintain that power. So it becomes not enough, never enough, for one man to apologize for one instance. I am glad that you recognize that being called a bitch was a negative experience. Now do something about all the times your friends make jokes about ordering a wife online, about girls being unsuited for video games, for your every chortled call to make a sandwich. It's not just a joke when this is every day, every minute, your whole life. And in turn, it becomes insulting for a man to build his own mausoleum, with makeup, dress, surgeries, high heels, thinking that these tools will be used to attempt for appeasement, and to say, I am two women, by using them. Even if you are mistaken for a woman, even if someone catcalls you, if someone treats you that one time the way we have always been treated, it can never compare to having a girlhood and emerging as a woman, fully aware of how much you are hated, how much danger you are in, and how much that will constrain you like a coffin you were born into. Womanhood is the culmination of growing up in a culture that tells you how worthless you are, and deciding how to address this hatred the best you can, rebelling against it or attempting to appease it. It is not the same thing as sleepovers, compliments, doors held open for you, and wedding rings on silver platters, no matter how much you think it is. This, dear viewers, is where we part. Perhaps it's a bit late to be talking about girlhood. I think most of the conversation about Dylan has died down, but I'm sure he'll enter the news again at some point or another. I was simply thinking about my childhood. I've kept a diary since I was in 4th grade, and reading back through it, remembering all these different things, it's such an insult for someone to claim that they can understand what being a woman is like when all they did was put on a costume. And yes, we talk about this so often, but I think it's often hard for men, to understand what this really means, because it's not just right now you are treated away. It is your whole life you've been treated away. Your whole life you've been raised this way. 1 minute is nothing compared to a lifetime.